Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my landscape journey. In today's episode, we're gonna learn how to model and render this scene using VRay and 3ds Max. That said, let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create our lighting bollard. For doing this, I'm gonna select a box and I'm gonna type 0.15 by 0.15 by 0.45 height, probably 0.60. Now I am going to maximize this window by pressing Alt W, and I'm gonna press Z to zoom in. To be able to see the segments, we're gonna press F3 and then F4. F3 activates and disactivates the shader, and F4 you can see the segments. We're gonna add an edit poly modifier. Now I am going to connect all these edges. I select those edges and then I'm gonna go to connect and I'm going to click 2. Now I'm gonna press OK and I'm gonna move the edges, the vertices, a little bit higher here, then a little bit higher down here, and we're gonna work with this area. Now I am going to select polygon and I want to click on inset. I'm gonna inset this 0.02 centimeters and then I'm gonna press OK. And now I am going to hold and press the Shift key and I'm gonna push this just a little bit back. Now I am going to go back to edge selection again, and I am going to select this edge, press Ctrl to add the other edge, and now click connect, and I am going to create only one connection. Now this connection, I'm gonna push it back, and this is gonna be our actual lighting. Now I am going to select this edge, this edge, this edge, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one right here, this one, this one, this one, all the outer edges. I'm gonna press F3 to see the selection, and I am going to add a chamfer modifier. For the radius, I am going to type 0.005, and what this is going to do is going to soften all the outer edges of the lighting bollard. Now I'm gonna press OK. I'm gonna press F3 again, and I am going to change the color of this to this purple. Now we're going to start adding the materials. We're going to press M to go to the material editor. We're going to right click and we're going to create a new VRay material. We want this bollard to be in a metallic black paint, so I'm going to change the diffuse color, probably type here 56, yes, and now the reflection, I'm gonna change it to 250. Now the metalness, I am going to type 1.01, and on the IOR I am gonna type 1.011. So that's gonna be our metal for the overall body. And to apply two materials to this bollard, I am going to assign areas for the bollard. So I'm going to go back to the bollard, go to modify panel, and I am going to add some IDs. So I want all of the bollard to be set on 1, but I also want this part and this part that it's going to be the lighting component to be number 2. Now I am going to create a material that is going to be a multi-material. On this multi-material, I only need two channels. One channel, it's going to be for the body, and the other channel is going to be for the lighting component. For the lighting component, I'm going to create a new VRay material. And this material is going to have a black diffuse color, and then we're going to activate the self-illumination. And we're going to give it a warm tone, probably something like this. And I am going to increase the multiplier to 5. And this one is going to be connected to the second slot. Now I am going to click on this material and I'm going to name it Lighting Bollard. I am going to apply the material to the bollard. Click on the object and select Assign. Now we have the lighting bollard. Now let's start creating the context. For doing that, I am first going to create a plane. I'm going to press T to go to top view, and then I'm going to escape pressing Alt W or this button, and I'm going to add this plane. This plane is going to be 7 meters by 7 meters. And I don't want the plane to be subdivided, so I'm going to reduce this to 1. Then I'm going to maximize this viewport, and I am going to press G to deactivate the grid. Now I'm going to create the back wall. I'm going to press T to go to top view, and I'm going to do a wall this length. Let's go to perspective view. The wall is going to be 1.8 meters tall, and then it's going to be a 6 meters wall, and it's going to be 0.3 of thickness. Maybe I want to select again my bollard. I am going to rotate it using the snap rotation tool that allows me to move in 5 degrees, so I can get a precise 90-degree rotation. Now I'm going to create another wall on this part. So I'm going to select another box. I'm going to go up. This one is going to be 1.8, 0.3, and let's do 6 meters. Now I want to do the planting area. For the planting area, the first thing that we're going to do is to create the edge that is going to divide the gravel from the planting. So for doing that, I'm going to select a line. I'm going to go back to top view, and pressing and holding the shift key, I'm going to go up to here and then up to here. Right. I'm going to move the wall a little bit to here, so we can create more space. I'm going to move the plane a little bit more. And now I'm going to create another line right here. Okay. So I'm going to go back to this view. I'm going to select Enable and Render and Enable in Viewport. And I want this line to be part of this line. So for doing that, I'm going to go to Modify Panel, Attach, and I'm going to click on the other line. Now, I'm going to select Rectangular, and I am going to type 0.1 by 0.01. So that's going to give us a short, fine edge. And I want to apply this in material as a bollard, but not for the light, only for the black color. So I'm going to press M on my keyboard to go to the material editor, and I want this material to be applied to the steel etching. Apply. And now I'm going to set up the camera. For setting up the camera, I'm gonna go to Objects, Camera, VRay. I'm gonna select Physical Camera, and I'm gonna go something like that. Then I'm gonna escape from full screen. This is gonna be the camera view. I'm gonna move it up a little bit. I'm gonna select two views only. Let's click on F3 and F4, G to deactivate the gizmo. And now pressing Shift F, I'm gonna be able to see only the frame that I'm gonna render. So let's start by setting up the camera focal length. Select the camera. Now let's change this to be 30. So it's at 30 millimeters lenses. And let's move the camera a little bit far away from here. That sounds good. Now let's move the plane and this object just a little bit further down. Yes. The plane, I'm gonna bring it a little bit back. Actually, I'm just gonna scale it. Now the camera, I'm gonna move it probably somewhere. I wanna go to spline. I wanna move these two segments just a little bit further down. Yes. And I'm going to have one bollard right here. And then I'm going to press and drag with the Shift key. And I'm going to create an instance. Now let's add the material of this wall. I'm going to move the wall just a bit behind. I'm going to go to the Cosmos browser. I'm going to go to my download assets. And I'm going to use this brick. Press M to open the material editor. And now let's bring this brick. If you want to move the full material together rather than node by node, you can press Ctrl and Alt key at the same time and then move and drag everything together. So I want to apply these bricks to this wall and that wall. Let's add a UV modifier to adjust the texture. Select box and let's type 1, 1, 1. Let's create the soil material. For the soil, I'm going to use this one right here. Let's go to material editor again and let's import this soil. Press Ctrl Alt L to drag the material down. Now let's add the material. Let's add also a UV modifier. Click on box and type 1, 1, and 1. So this modifier is adjusting the texture for us. Let's minimize this. This edge right here, I want to move it a little bit more. So for doing the gravel, I'm going to do an overlay on the top of this material, because doing it like that is just simple and easy. I'm going to go up to here, I'm going to go up to here, I'm going to go up to here, I'm going to go here, and then I'm gonna close the shape. It doesn't need to be perfect. Let's untick enable and render and untick enable and viewport. Let's convert this into an editable poly and move it up just a little bit. Now select the vertex tool and let's align these ones on Y. Enough. here, let's move it a little bit further down so we can cover that bit. And let's add another material for this. So let's go to materials. Let's go to the Cosmos browser, this sand material. Import it. Press Ctrl Alt to drag the material. Now let's apply this material to the floor. Now go to the modifiers, select UVW map, select box and type 2 by 2 by 2. Enter. Now let's add some planting by using VRay scatter. I'm going to scale it a little bit, and I'm going to place one of these ones maybe there. That's good. I'm going to use this paper birch somewhere here. I'm going to scale it, move it like that, and now I'm gonna scatter some grasses on this area. For doing that, I'm gonna first create the VRay scatter. I'm going to go to Objects, Chaos, and I'm going to select Chaos Scatter. Now I'm going to import. So let's go to Vegetation, a little bit of this one, maybe some lavender, a little bit of this one, some of these. I'm going to select those models, and I am going to isolate them. Now press from view, and first we're going to correct the scale. So I'm going to go to modify, and on scale I'm going to type 0.1. Then here I am going to type 0.1, and here I'm going to type 0.1. Select them again and press isolate. I think that scale will work fine for this exercise. So I'm gonna go to top view. I'm going to maximize this, and I want to put these models here close to my scatter. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to draw the area where I want these items to be scattered. So I'm gonna go to Objects, Shapes, Spline, and I'm going to create a spline to tell the software that I want to include these objects on this area. And then I want to create another spline to tell the software where I don't want these items to be scattered. So I don't want items around the trunk, I don't want items around this bollard, and I don't want items around this bollard. So I'm gonna click on this one, right click, convert to spline, and I'm going to attach all the areas that I want to become a single non-usable area. Now on the scatter, I'm going to go to Modify, Objects, and I want to instance these models. And I want to distribute them on this plane. So currently it's scattering all around, so I need to go to Areas and include this area. But also I want to exclude this other area. Now let's draw a new area for this part, and maybe also we can copy another bollard instance. Let's go to 2 views, and let's press the camera view here. Let's rotate it 90 degrees, And let's move the bollard somewhere here. Now, let's select this spline, uncheck the Start New Shape, and draw another boundary here. So that's gonna include the scatter on this area as well. And now select the exclusions spline, uncheck the Start New Shape, and draw a new exclusion right here. The spline, you can modify it. So as you can see, wherever we put this circle is where the scatter is not being shown. And before we render, I'm gonna add another shrub right there. Maybe this one. Let's put somewhere there. And before we start rendering, I'm gonna add some settings. So first go to render setup. I want this render to be in a small size just to test it. And I want to add some elements. I want to add VRay denoiser, that it's going to soften our image. And also I want to add a VRay light mix, which is going to allow us to control the intensity of the bollards after rendering. Let's go to the Cosmos browser again, and let's add the light. For the lighting, we're going to use a dome. Using a dome is very good for exteriors because it gives us the HDRI and very good shadows as well. So I'm going to create that daylight there. And also, I'm going to add another light, a plain light, and I'm going to move it a little bit up and rotate it. So that's going to give us an indirect studio light from this point. Now let's click on render to see what we have for now. I think we can replace the material of this bollard. So for doing that, I'm gonna go to materials, and also I'm gonna go to the Chaos browser, and I'm gonna use this iron blurry that is a predefined item. I'm gonna check it from here, this one, and I'm gonna use the VRay material. Then for the LED, I'm going to use the LED provided by Chaos, and I'm going to connect it to the other channel. Now let's adjust the camera settings. I'm going to select the camera. I'm going to activate the depth of field, and I'm going to reduce the shutter speed to 60. And let's test the render again. I didn't connect the right material, so it's this one. And now let's go to front view, and let's apply edit poly modifier. Let's break this down. Let's move down this vertex, so it's gonna give us more composition. Select this one and move the modifier up. For the planting, I'm gonna go to the scatter. I'm gonna go to surface scattering, and I want 3 units per square meter. Let's try 15. I'm gonna go to edge trimming. No edge trimming. Edge trimming trims after the line. Now in transformations, I'm gonna add a little bit of variety on the scale. So I want them to be from 60 to 90 on scale, and just a little bit of rotation as well. This will give us a bit of more interesting look. Now let's go to render settings, VRay, and let's change the burn value. Let's go to color of mapping, and on burn value type 0.4. And let's increase this to 90 and let's render it. Here in light mix we can increase the intensity of the light. On self-illumination we can type 10, we can type 90, and then we can turn on the lenses. Also we can add a curve gradient. On the lens effect we can increase the size and the intensity to get a little bit more glow. Let's tweak a little bit the settings. Let's add 50 units per square meter. Decrease the density of this to 0.3. Increase the lavender to 1.1. And maybe we can use 55 units. And let's see what we have. I think this planting is starting to look a little bit more interesting. We can also, I think we can put the dome here and this circle with the dome. Yeah. Let's increase the size of the dome a little bit. And also let's increase the size of this spline. Yeah, so we want planting there. I think we can make the bollards a bit smaller. Let's select local. Let's scale them a little bit. Bring them down. And let's make them taller. And let's click render. Maybe this dome is a bit too big, so we can make it a bit smaller, something like that. Now let's make this scene a little bit more interesting and let's create our night visual. For this one we're going to add more light components and we are going to change the HDRI. So let's go to the Cosmos browser and let's use the Sunset 31. Let's import the asset and let's move it here. Let's switch off the daylight. Now let's create plain light, something like that. Let's move it here. Let's move it up a little bit. Let's rotate it like that. Something like that, yeah. Now go to settings. Let's make this light invisible and let's change the temperature to something a bit more warm. Let's copy this as an instance. Now let's make one more for here as an instance again. Let's rotate it 90 degrees. And let's click render. As you can see, this scene is starting to become more attractive, more interesting. We have the nice sunset and this lighting here is now casting some light on the ground. Let's increase the intensity of these ones to 10. And now it's actually lighting the floor a little bit. And let's decrease the sunset to 45. Now let's go to the curve and just pump it up a little bit. Now go to here, exposure, and let's reduce the burn value a little bit. Increase a little bit the contrast. And then let's go back to the light mix and let's increase a little bit the self-illumination to 95. And this is the final result. Guys, I hope you had enjoyed this. You have to remember that this is a very basic tutorial for the people that is starting to use VRay, that is starting to use 3ds Max. There is lots of more things that you can do to improve this visual, but I think it's a very good starting point for someone that wants to do something in a very basic background. Guys, I hope you had enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.